Nej, nu glömde jag igen. Hjärtligt välkomna till Muzen i Huzen, episod 4. Idag ska vi snacka lite USA. Idag faktiskt, helt ärligt, det är typ lite en slump. Så Trump tror jag har deklarerat den här dagen som Liberty Day. Jag tror att det är Liberty Day. Därför att nu ska vi få höra, eller om man inte redan har gjort det, jag vet faktiskt inte riktigt om jag ska vara helt ärlig. Ska vi få höra vad han har för planer för, du vet, handel, tariffer och alltihopa. Så, jag tänkte att vi idag skulle prata om hur amerikaner egentligen ser på sin relation till sitt eget land, sin relation till omvärlden och sig själva. Så därför så har jag bjudit in en kompis till mig som är amerikan. Han heter Brandon. Han kommer komma med alldeles strax. Och jag tänkte ge er en liten kort uppdatering på varför jag överhuvudtaget befinner mig i USA, om det intresserar någon. Men först så skulle jag vilja veta hur ni mår. Är ni med mig? Har ni det bra? Vad är dagens emoji? Är det en cowboyhatt? Eller är det en tumme i röven? Finns det en sån emoji? Om inte, ni vet vad ni hörde först. Ska kolla lite här. Välkomna in igen till showen Muzen i Huzen. Muzen i Huzen för övrigt, jag kan ju bara säga det, är en slogan. Myntad av underbara Rebecca Stella. En applåd. För att när jag gjorde podd med henne, och redan innan när hon gjorde podd med Vanessa, så kallade de mig för Muzen, Mange Mus. Och sen blev det Muzen i Huzen. För att jag typ var så här in the house. Så det var Muzen i Huzen. Så därifrån kommer det. Så det är roligt. Oj, vänta, vad är det här för? Brain emojin. Nice! Love that. Kul att ni mår bra. Hjärtligt välkomna än en gång, ska jag bara säga. Jo, så anledningen till att jag befinner mig i USA är ju egentligen för att jag inte har en egen vilja, utan att jag går på andra människors energier, andra människors dragkraft, kan man säga. Och jag blev ihop med en kvinna som jag senare gifte mig med, och fortfarande är gift med faktiskt, som heter Jeanette Peppe Öhman. Otrolig människa för övrigt. så shoutout till min fru på det sättet. Och hon tyckte att hon hade en dröm och vision om att hon vill bo någon annanstans än i sitt fädernes land. Hon hade precis, när vi träffades, hade hon precis flyttat hem ifrån att ha bott i Sydamerika, Argentina huvudsakligen, en lång period. Och det kliade i röven på henne helt enkelt, kan man säga. Så hon kände att hon måste flytta på sig. Och då, för att göra en lång historia kort, kommer på den geniala idén att hon vill bosätta sig i Los Angeles. Jag hade precis varit i Los Angeles på semester typ. Och kände mig inte alls sugen på att flytta. Jag tyckte att Los Angeles verkade vara en rövstad, om jag ska vara helt ärlig. Men så blev det i alla fall. Och eftersom jag är en ja-sägare, I'm up for an adventure, så flyttade vi hit. Och då var huvudanledningen till att Peppe skulle plugga i ett år här på en otrolig skola som heter USC, University of Southern California. Vid det här tidpunkten så var det en av USAs mest välrenommerade journalistutbildningar man kunde få där. Så hon kom hit, gjorde en masters in journalism. Det heter inte så. Ja, någonting sånt. I ett år. Vidar, min son, vår son, var 3 år då vid det laget. Så vi hängde mest på Natural History Museum. Och medan Peppe pluggade häcken av sig. Men sen när vi hade gjort det här året, då kände vi att vi verkligen tyckte om att vara i Santa Monica. Och jag ska också säga, det har hänt ganska mycket sen vi kom hit. När vi kom hit, då var Obama fucking president. Obama var president. Helt annan vibe. Sen så blev Trump president. Sen så blev Biden president. Och nu Trump president igen. Så ganska mycket har alltså det är inte ens samma planet vi bor på. Men ni undrar varför vill man bo kvar i USA fortfarande? Ja, det vill man faktiskt. Och det skulle jag jättegärna tillbringa ett helt annat avsnitt om. Men nu så tänker jag mer ur perspektivet, vill man som amerikan bo kvar i USA? Så därför så har jag bjudit in min otroliga kompis Brandon, som jag faktiskt träffade ute i havet. Så det här lilla avsnittet kommer från och med nu att gå på engelska, men jag tänker att vi drar igång. Är ni med? What's up?
Oh, snap! We're seeing each other for a while here. Nice hat, Magnus. You going hiking after, or are you going for a bird watch? What's going on?
What? This is my cowboy hat. I'm having a U.S. special today in my talk show. Bird hat. What the F, man?
You're going bird watching. Bird watching.
That is so... Also, what is up with the professional background? You backlit and everything?
I'm an ignorant, uneducated American, but damn, am I professional? I'll tell you that.
You guys are so visually professional. You're so good at the cosmetics of everything. And you also got the professional coffee cup going.
There you go. I'm just drinking some tea, hitting our regular coffee spot.
Shut up for a minute. Just so everybody knows, Brandon and I, we met out in the ocean. What a wonderful place to meet someone. Both surf. I mean, you surf way better than I do.
It does not matter. It does not matter how good you surf. It's only a personal thing. It's only your own competition with yourself.
Thank you so much for joining this live event. Today, we're going to be focusing on what it's like to be an American 2025. First of all, Brandon, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How old are you, first of all? Tell me that.
Wow, you want to know my age? Holy snap!
Yes,
I'm up there, sir.
Give me like decades. You don't have to be specific,
bro. I don't care about this Hollywood crap. I'm 46 years old.
Holy shit! You should not have said that. You should not have said that, bro. That is too much.
Oh, okay, you're a wicked sweetheart. Wicked sweetheart, you are. I am 46. I'm originally from Connecticut, which is New England. So if anybody knows New England, it's the last state at the bottom, and everything up from there is part of New England. And then spent some time in New York, and then I've been out here in California for over 20 years now, right here in Los Angeles.
Do you identify yourself as an American?
Yes, I do. But I also do have strong ties to my Polish heritage. I do have family still in Poland. But yes, I am an American first and foremost, but Polish American on the second end.
Are you? So wait. So one of your parents were born in Poland?
Great grandparents were. I'm like what third? What's that? Maybe like third generation or something like that. So
that makes you American, I think.
I'm American. I mean, straight up, I'm American. I'm not like these guys Americans who claim like, oh, well, I'm Irish. Right. And it's like, no, you're an American, bro. So that's it.
I'm happy to hear that, because that makes this interview a whole lot easier. And also it adds another level of credibility to us talking about what it's like to be an American in America 2025. First of all, like what traditionally, or how should I say it? Like when you guys talk about in your family, do you ever guys talk about being like what it's like to be an American, what that represents?
With my family personally, it never was like a thing like, hey, we're Americans. This is what we do, is where like you'll see that bravado across, whether it's the news or whatever, something like that. And it's not that I'm very proud to be an American. There is kind of that shtick, where it is kind of like where either Europeans see us and we have this like real, well, yeah, I'm American, and flags flying everywhere. And that is true. But for me personally, my family was never like, we're American and this is how it is. It's like, we always were like, we're American, but, we got that Polish side to us. So it was very ease. It wasn't that. Now, my brother served in the military. And even him serving in the military wasn't like, yeah, America, this is who we are. He's pretty easy about it. He defended the country. He's a veteran. And that's just how it went personally for us in my own personal situation.
Oh my Lord. I did not know that about your brother, but he made it through his service and everything is.
Yeah, when 9/11 hit, he was in just finishing up like his beginning training and everything from there, just going through the whole thing. And they sent him out right after to Afghanistan in the beginning. So he was one of the first people out after 9/11. But again, like with all that and even the military training and him being in, even he went to South Korea for about a year or so. So like to end his whole journey as being in the army. But yeah, other than that, you know, he lives in Texas now. So he kind of, it's weird. Like he is into politics and he is, you know, pro-American, but he's not that kind of person that you see that you think with military and pro-American, like, yeah, it's America first and all that. Nothing like politics wise.
Okay.
He's really into politics though, but he's not that guy trying to be like, I'm going to show you how badass American is, you know?
I see. But let's focus on you. First of all, what is your relationship to like Europe?
Europe. Okay.
Except
So,
like besides your family history, like but your as far as
right.
like views and how you view Europe. What is your
Okay.
relationship to it?
So my first time ever viewing Europe was I actually went and studied abroad over in England for about 6 months. I couldn't afford to just like go to school there. I also got a job there. My first like bartending gig was over in England. So I got to see, even though it is English speaking, but there was a lot of other people from different countries, different cultures that I got to meet and understand and start learning a little more about Europe along the way. And that was when I was 18 into 19 years old that I ended up doing that. So Europe, it's one of the, I think actually being in Europe, it really, even at that age, 18, 19, it really, it totally made my thinking go another way. I opened up. I really have to say perspective wise and seeing and kind of, and I wouldn't say I still had more to see. And I did travel different places, different European countries, such as, you know, like Holland, you know, and I just, yeah,
So what's the
I feel
difference
like
between Europe and America?
they love making fun of me for thinking like I am that. Yeah, America, let's go. They would make fun of me of that and stuff like that. And it's sporting wise, they make fun of me for like saying the World Series, huh? So like little things like that, but it was all in good fun. But as far as my view and my personal, like just dealings with people from Europe, it was great. People were very nice to me. They were fun. They wanted to find out. I wanted to find out about them. It was very open. It was very, I think that's the key word, open. I think
Yeah.
people in Europe were way more had an open scope perspective than I'd say than what I kind of grew up in or what I saw personally.
And if I say Sweden, what do you say then? What do you know about Sweden?
Okay, keywords when I hear Sweden, I think
Mhm.
cold. I think hockey. I think
Wait, what was the first one?
cold.
Cold. Oh yeah, okay,
For
gotcha.
some
Yeah.
reason, that's what pops in my head.
Right.
Now, this is where I think that's really weird is like when I look at you and I know you, I go, of course he's Swedish. You know what I mean? Like you personify the look without even saying a word is what I would think Swedish. And
What is that? What is
and
that?
I know that sounds so stereotypical,
Is it the
but
cowboy hat?
it's it's your bird watching hat, bro. Your bird watching hat. So what it is to me is like it sounds stereotypical, but I swear to God, a lot of the Swedish people that I've met through my life look and have that same like golden blonde hair look. I know not everyone has blonde hair in Sweden. I know this, but I swear to God, it is exactly like you are the personification, the ideal look of what it is to be like. That's what Swedish looks like. Swear to God.
All right. So my persona per se is Sweden to you.
Well, you know, all right, again, everyone's got their own experiences and stuff like
Yeah,
that, right? So
sure.
from my personal experience of anybody besides even knowing you, even before,
Yeah.
anybody who I've met from Sweden has been absolutely, to me, and it's not just because I'm speaking to Swedish people, I'll tell you, like, there's some countries I'm just like, nah, they have an attitude problem, or that's kind of like, they're a little bit harder. But
Right.
anybody that I met from Sweden was pretty cool. Everyone was open. Everyone was just easygoing, very,
Yeah.
very easygoing. I felt like how they talked to you, how they listen to you. I think there's more of an openness. Again, openness is another key word to it that I keep on using, but I just felt like very easy. It was nice to talk to. I didn't feel on guard.
All right. That's nice to hear. So if I told you that Sweden is a socialist country, what does socialism sound like to you? Like what pops up in your head?
That becomes a whole politics thing. That becomes okay, so how I grew up and where I come from is basically saying, hey man, you work for what you get, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people do kind of throw around the word socialism here in America, people get quick to go, no, I would never want that. I want, because what I work for is what I get. And I know not everybody's, situation is fair, but like I've got to trudge through whatever it is. It becomes a whole thing where people get really on guard here when they hear the thing about socialism.
Sure.
And I think that is due to, honestly, when we think about history, and then if you want to get into about like Russia and everything, and then specifically just thinking about, socialism becomes kind of a thing where it's a little bit touchy here, a little bit touchy.
Was that the same in your family, being that they also kind of like had strings to Europe?
Yeah, I think they saw, what happened during the time, like when growing up, like in Poland, when Russia still, I know socialism, Soviet communism, Union, totally different, but sort of same kind of thing. Again, like it was one of those things, like I came up from a working class family, just personally me, and it was always like, hey, work really hard, and then you're going to get what you work for.
You keep coming back to like work very hard. Do you feel like, is there like the idea that socialism makes people not want to work hard, or is socialism like the government taking care of you so you don't have to do anything? Is that kind of like the vibes you get?
I feel that it is a great idea to have people to be on the equal playing field, but then as human beings, and as we are, and as you see people take advantage of the, the system, it kind of gets to that where people, I think, become more scared. Or when I think about it, I go, I might not be given a specific situation, that helps me or whatever, but I'm going to have to find my way, like as hard as possible, whatever it's going around walls, whatever, to get what I need to get. And I think that sometimes when you have a certain, it's not everybody, again, it's just, you do get people who abuse, you get people who do abuse the system, and it makes it harder for those other people. It's bigger than that. It's I'm sounding maybe a little bit too broad.
You're skeptical.
Yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you put your guard up a little bit. Like I kind of like, I bet you like the idea of free healthcare and free education,
love
and
it,
like that. But you kind of like, your guard is a little bit up. Like, yeah, but what's the cost? Like what?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's tricky. It's like, because free healthcare. Trust me, living in America and then living in Europe, and then going to England and living in England and going, hey, I had to get something taken care of, but I got to be put on a waiting list. And then if you want to go and get it done right away, you'd have to pay that money to get it done, taken care of. And not that it doesn't have, everything has its really goodness. And I would love to have free healthcare. And I would love to find a system that makes it work. But I think there's too many other variables and everything else that kind of brings it to where, like, I think it's kind of like a really hard thing, not trying to be cautious of what I'm saying. It just, there's too many other things going on to it that kind of like disrupt that kind of way of being too. But I do
have medical insurance?
I do, but fortunately, because of my wife. Oh. So again, and I've had my own even without her before, but man, it is absolutely ridiculous what they've done to the system.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's horrible. Yeah. And I would love to sit there and say, how can we find a way to do this? But obviously this becomes more political, and people just kind of,
we don't have to dig into it. I just wanted like your,
would I like to find a way? Yes.
So I have another question. Let's go to something simpler. Tell me about, like, because one of the big slogans for this country is the American dream. So can you tell me a little bit, what is that?
Okay, the American dream, specifically because I'm from the East Coast, and where I'm deemed is like New England.
Does it differ from the East Coast to the West Coast?
Yeah, I think the way we come across back east, where I'm from, like when I say East Coast, I'm meaning the upper north areas, like from like everything from like Pennsylvania and up, You know what I mean? Like, but usually East Coast, when they say East Coast, they're meaning more like New England, New York,
Yep.
New Jersey. There's a certain grit. There's a certain hardness. There's a certain way of speaking. There's a certain way of being. It can be aggressive. Not that there aren't really good people, but it's just very a little more in your face is where compared to the West Coast, people a little too held back in my opinion. And this is actually just what most people that I know kind of feel too. And there's a little more grittiness to where I'm from or how we grew up.
But wait, what does that got to do with American Dream?
Where I came from is like kind of like where all the history started, how America was founded.
Yeah.
Right. Like New England, all that stuff.
Colonies,
You look at, yeah, they've even got the names of like certain towns in countries in England, right? You know, all on those states. And I think what I'm trying to get to is the idea that the American dream was built on immigrants coming into this country also. And everybody, no matter what situation, no matter how poor or small, whatever, and through the system or through doing whatever they could, everybody worked their butts off to get where they could or do everything they could for their family. And it's build the foundation of this country. So when you think about the American dream, we're thinking about, again, the immigrants coming in from all countries.
Being able to create a better life for yourself.
Exactly. And I think the American dream is that, and has gotten, when you get into politics and the stuff that's being said today, has gotten a little too extreme. But the reality is, people came here for a better life and to forward themselves the best they could, no matter what conditions they were under. And it seemingly has put other people in different areas in their life to be able to.
But wait, quickly. So what's the American dream on the West Coast? If you could summarize it in like a couple of sentences.
I kind of think that everybody feels the same, really, is that the opportunity, no matter where in America. I think opportunity is the key word here, is the idea that you can come anywhere.
So the American dream is about you having a chance to create something basically out of nothing, just because you're in the land of opportunity and everything is possible if you put in the hard work.
Absolutely. And and don't get me wrong, where you live does dictate how that goes.
Right.
And like,
no, because I was going to ask, so how do you feel like the American dream today, 2025, is it still there? Is it a real thing? Do you believe in it?
I do believe in it.
Yeah. You're able, but do you feel like hard work is the key, or do you feel like
well, here's the thing is, I've always been brought up that, hey, you get an education, you get a job, you do this, you get a house, blah, blah, blah. But depending what field you're in and what you're going for, it just depends on what you're going for specifically. But do I believe in it? Yes, I absolutely do. But I'm very fortunate to have the time, have the place, have, the freedom to be able to do certain things, to maybe, okay, I've got to get this stuff out of the way and then go for what I'm going for personally. And it's hard. It's not easy. Obviously, nothing should be easy, really. I think it builds character. But that's the whole point, is like that, like, I've come to where I want to be because I'm going for what I would like to do. And at the end of the day, is if I don't necessarily make it to the upper echelon, but there's always chance, there's always opportunity. Now, I'm not going to put all my eggs in this basket and go, it's definitely going to happen. It has to. It's like, listen, life happens, whatever. But the fact that I have the opportunity to make things better in my life, I can do that.
Do you feel like anyone can become anything in America? Is that the place where you can, anything is possible here?
I do believe that. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Your parents believe that?
Yes, I do. They do believe it, but my parents are a little bit different. Just personally, for my parents, how they viewed things was, I want to have a family. Mm-hmm. I'm going to work at a job. I'm going to do what I do, and I'm going to, create a family and have a house, and I'm going to pay my bills and have some equity with the house. And as far as like, hey, do I want to be the top salesman or the top engineer? That wasn't really my parents' way of thinking, really. It was just like, I want to create a home and live in an area that I can be able to pay my house off, have a job, have security, financial security, have a retirement fund, and be able to have kids. So that was their dream. That was their way of looking at things. As where mine and how I feel is just way more it goes on more. Like, it's just, yeah, I'm really like shooting for up there.
I want to talk a little bit about what it's to be an American today. How do you, as you're gonna have to represent all Americans now. Sorry.
You do not want this.
I'm sorry. It's just 350 million of you guys. Come on now. Basically the same opinion, all of you. I'm just joking. And I wanted to ask you what it's like to be an American today from the perspective that the current government is kind of like breaking ties with traditional allies. You're being a little bit more aggressive towards friendly countries, Canada. What does that put you in? What kind of positions does that put you as like just a person in this country? Like, you don't make any decisions. You're just like kind of like, it doesn't matter if you agree with the decisions or not. It's just like, how, like, are you worried how, like, so your next travel to Europe, are you worried that that's going to have an effect on that?
The effect on what? On going to Europe?
Yeah. So you said that, for example, like last time you went to Europe, you felt that people were so open, everybody was curious, blah, blah, blah. It was a nice experience to you. Do you feel like your place in the world as an American, are you worried? Or do you think that will change? Are you worried about that? Do you think about that?
I'm not really worried about it. I think if anybody wants to have the discussion or talk about it, I find that people are willing to have the discussion rather than get really upset at me being just an American and being like, that's what I follow, that's who I am, that's what I believe. I find people are more interested in talking, Europeans, rather than let's just put it out there. Now, as far as the current administration, he's not my cup of tea. That's just personally how I feel. But here's the thing is, my family voted for him, you know, and it's like, okay, I'm the only one with my wife who didn't. Now, am I going to hate my family because I don't agree and I don't like what's going on? But then I go, you know what? The thing is this has happened. People did vote for him. They did go for him. I can't control that. I can only control what I can. Now, as far as the stuff and going on and how it is with Europeans and how it affects our relationship with Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like I hate bullies, personally me. But then I also got to try to look on the other perspective, right? I don't like what he's doing, but then I go, well, what's behind it? What do I not know? And again, like, there's other things that is he doing something business wise where he is being a bully because he wants to specifically get what he wants and he's using whatever leverage he can because he's a businessman? Is he doing things that we think that are harming relationships and shouldn't have to be that way, but he's doing that? Is it going to work? I don't know. It doesn't look good as far as I'm concerned, but other people obviously think differently. So I don't like having that thing as if people were to look at me as if like, well, you're from America and that's what you represent, because that's not it.
But are you worried about like how the world views you as an American? Like I said, now in this conversation, you're going to have to represent 350 million people. But like how people all over the world use it. Like, you're an American, so you're one of those.
Yeah, I'm one of those. A talking head who has no idea what he's talking about. Yeah, I look at it and I go,
because he's pissing people off in other countries.
Oh, absolutely. I don't, I don't like it. I don't like. Listen, man, you want to do business. But then if you're starting to bait other people and he's trying to show his prowess, he's trying to show power, he's trying to establish back that American, like, we're America. And it's like, yeah, whatever. You don't need to do that. But again, that's how he wants to do it. And he wants to be looked at. I'm not going to look at it that way, but other people might look at it and go, we like that. We're proud of it. Again, I don't fear how people will look at me if I go to another country. I don't. And if they do, I'm happy to correct them.
Have a conversation.
Because I'm not, for me and other people that I know are not afraid to have discussions or talk about it. And if someone wants to, roll up, like, say something. Let's talk. But
did you guys talk politics in your family when you grew up?
That's the funny thing. No, none. There was nothing about politics, I'd say, up until the past decade. Like maybe even just a little more over a decade. And all my life of being 46, so like say into my 30s, never were we talking about politics. And all of a sudden, within the past decade, I don't know if this is just something as you get older, like people become either more conservative or they switch another way or they see things because now they have different perspectives. But at the end of the day, no, politics was never spoken in my family, ever. And now it's more than ever. Did you grow up in politics yourself, even though not being American, but as far as your government?
We definitely talked about like society and just had discussions about like what my parents felt were right and wrong. It kind of like helped me create my moral compass or like evolve it or whatever. But I do agree, like general public, definitely the past 10 years been very, very active. I feel like it's more, maybe it's a social media thing. Like you kind of have to position yourself. It's part of like branding yourself, who you are to become relevant to other people. I don't know what's going on, but I do feel like definitely way more political discussions.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to just tell you straight up, and I always have been. I'm not the smartest person when it comes to politics. I'm not, I kind of go off. I do listen. I do see. I do hear. I do think about things, and it does worry me at times. Yes, it definitely does.
What does worry?
Should.
What does worry you?
Well, just like what we spoke about before, what worries me about the direction of how you're going to, put a hold on different people or try to use your leverage, and then you're going to be baiting other people and talking trash to other people. They're like, I have no problem. Like, listen, I love talking trash. I love someone who can have a fun time. But when you're thinking about politics or you're thinking about your country, you want to have a specific, I think, in my ideal way of like who I want in politics is someone who has that funniness to them, but is able to be a little more direct without having to feel like I'm trying to troll other people or make them fear me, rather than just be like, hey, my position is what it is. If you don't like it, then we can go another way. But it worries me because of the mere fact of, I guess, the unknown. Is this going to work out in the next few years, or are we about to just plummet and have problems and everything from there? Again, I can't predict it, but I think everybody's just holding on at this point in time in America.
Dude, do you not care about Sweden? Is it America first for Americans? Always?
No, because here's the thing is our country helps out other countries. But as far as Sweden goes, here's the thing is I don't feel, even when I grew up or when I talk to even living anywhere, New York, live in Los Angeles, whatever, Sweden, no one has really been like, oh, Sweden, these people in Sweden are like this. Right? There's never been like that kind of talk or feeling about Sweden. I think that most Americans don't have any idea like how Sweden is, what goes on, how's their climate, how are they as people. It's not that anyone's forgotten. It's just like, it just doesn't come up a lot. You know what I mean? Like, it's not I don't think it's oh, we don't care about them or we don't look at them. I think it's more along the lines of like, no one's been exposed to like the Swedish culture.
I understand. We've been talking for a minute now. I'm gonna let you go. You're a busy man. I do want to like ask you a couple of final questions. One of them being, what is it like? How would you identify? No, that's not right. What is it like? What's an American like? Oh,
it's all good. Take a second.
What are some like core American values 2025? Okay, I feel like here's what I'm going at. Like, wait, listen. So I feel like to Americans is about like protector of freedom. Constitution is huge. This is the land of the brave. Like Americans stand up for what is right. There can be no bullying and stuff like that. That's like those are kind of like the traditional old sentiments for this country, right? What are the same ones 2025?
I feel like due to COVID, everything else that happened and where we're at, just from just what I'm seeing, I feel like we're doing our best to rebuild.
Okay.
I think
that's what's going on. Like the house needs to be rebuilt a little bit. Like it
definitely does.
Okay.
It definitely does. Now, how they go about it and what they're doing, again, some stuff I don't agree with, like what's going on. But I think really where it's at is rebuilding. And any country, I guess, could say, hey, we need to build. But I mean, right now, I just think what's gone on these past years, there's definitely a lot of stuff happening. And from what I see is like people are just trying to get by. And I don't think there's it doesn't feel safe. Like the structure doesn't feel safe.
So do you feel like the rest of the world should like cut you a little bit of slack? You're in the middle of rebuilding. Once you got the foundation strong again, you'll be back as like the world protector or something like that.
Well, when you say that, do you think that the world let me ask you a quick question.
Oh,
so
shit.
From the people
from here we go.
let me put you on the defense. All right?
Okay.
I'm asking. So from your view, how many people that live in Sweden, do you feel that Sweden looks at America as like, we don't care about them now. We're kind of done with them and just how how they are as people, or do you think what? I mean, what do Swedish people feel about America at this point in time in 2025 as a marker?
So to my defense, first of all, I haven't lived in Sweden for way over 10 years. So I'm not fully
from what you hear from your circle.
Right. So I feel like US has been an amazing partner, not only to Sweden, but to the Western world, the major part of the Western world, because of its military power. It's been a nice partner to lean towards that has been able with force to keep the world calm. You know what I mean? And now with the US, the signals from the US of withdrawing from that partnership, it puts us as a small country into a scary place because we are surrounded by, we have a neighbor that is aggressive, and when it comes to military force, powerful. And US has been a nice buddy to have in your corner. However, Sweden do have other neighbors. The European Union is a strong, has strong bonds, and could be. They just haven't been organized in that way because US has always been the partner to deal with those kind of situations. But I do feel like now is a great time. I feel like people are worried in Sweden because we just we became members of NATO. Huge part of NATO is obviously the military force of the US. If they're not going to be part of playing that game, so that's a scary place because becoming a member of NATO was something that really pissed Russia off. Russia's always been like, nobody close to us should ever be a part. It wasn't just Ukraine. It's been Finland. It's been all
well, look at Poland. So my family still doesn't trust what's going on.
That's not a nice situation to be in. However, it is.
We're repeating history. We're repeating.
But what I do feel like this could be an opportunity, even though it might take a little bit of time, but this could be an opportunity for the Europeans to come together finally, creating their own military superpower. We're already good at the dealings with commercial stuff and all those, the trading and all those things. We got that pretty much figured out. But as far as like building a military power, should definitely be something for the European Union to prioritize. And when that's done, well, that would kind of seal the deal of US ever really being a partner again. Because what else could we really, like, that is actually the only thing that we really needed, like the safety. That kind of, and Sweden's always been, US has always been a country that Sweden's looked up to. We feel culturally very connected. We are one of the few countries in Europe that don't dub movies, so we're very exposed to the language, the culture, music wise. We have Swedes that go to Los Angeles and all these other places create amazing things because we're very closely culturally. So this is kind of like, I feel like it's in a way it's we feel what's it called? Like when you leave someone, they feel abandoned,
Okay.
in a way. And a trust has kind of like been broken. I feel that makes people nervous because we are not capable of defending ourselves towards a greater adversary such as Russia or something like that. We don't have the military capacity for that.
It's a lot of countries, and that's and again.
But if we come together as countries as Europe, then we will solve that situation. We have nuclear. Right. France has that. England has that. So I don't think that will be. That's not science fiction for us to be able to come to that level. And if we ever reach that, when we have reached that level, and our bond within the European Union or the European countries are stronger, then that kind of like puts the U.S. in a place where we don't really need you, and that's kind of sad too. I don't think that's great.
No, so at all.
So I think, I feel like people are worried in Sweden and they don't like this. It's like it's the end of an era, and something new needs to be built up. And whenever something comes to a conclusion, it's always a little bit shaky, and people are worried.
Absolutely.
That was a long, dumb answer.
No, I mean, listen. Sometimes, I'm the king of like trying to get to a point. Like, but it takes me a story or figure out a long time to finally zero in. So I totally get it. No, and it's good to hear because I don't think other people do know this. And that's the whole point is, and how other people do feel, what the perspective is. Yeah. And I mean, it'd be the same as just you coming on to something in America and being kind of, well, this is our country and this is kind of how we feel, or how, not everybody, but obviously there is like a little bit of, people are scared or want to have the best for what's going on. And I think, and again, I think everything, I think as Americans, I don't think anybody is sitting there going, let's go to war. I think everybody's like, we want to not do this right now because we need to rebuild. And it's not just about have strength. We do have strength, but it's more along the lines of like, our structure is definitely, it's rocky.
All right.
So.
Cool,
bro.
I got a question. Somebody sent in a question, a quick one.
Snap. Go ahead.
What do you think about Trump's obsession with Greenland?
I think it's ridiculous.
What does other Americans say about this? Do you believe
I don't know anybody that's going, yeah, let's take Greenland. Like everyone's like, we're going into Greenland. Let's take it. Like
that would be like going to war with Denmark.
What
the fuck is that about? Shut up. Stop doing that. I don't like that.
I don't think anybody. I've never heard in a conversation, even from my brother or my parents, going like, who are like go for Trump. And they're like, none of them are going, yeah, man, we should take over Greenland. We should take it. We should have it. No one gives a shit. Like, it's kind of like, it's like a funny thing for him to say. It's almost, it's like comedy. It's like, we're just going to start like, yeah, we'll take Greenland. What the hell? No. If there was something where they were like Greenland, like, hey, we'd like to be part of the U.S. for certain things and go, then okay, whatever. But just to be like going out there and going, yeah, we're going to take Greenland. I think we're just going to take what? I love it. I know he's not necessarily saying like we're just going to, but he's implying like we just put on some money and then here we go, which he could be doing. To me, it's just like, I feel like he's trolling. Like I really,
but that is also a little bit scary. Like you don't want your big brother or like your partner in crime to all of a sudden start trolling you on these kind of things. Like it's scary.
But then again, so
nervous.
How about we flip the other side? How about we look the other side? What if?
Oh, sorry.
No, but let's look at the other side, the perspective. And again, this is some real stupid stuff I might be saying here. Greenland, right? Maybe that's just another area where we can have a base. Maybe he's like saying it in the sense of like, hey, we can actually establish ourselves there. If we were to take it over, we could be there and then there would be no problems and everything else. And we could just, if he wanted to put some people there just as a marker for military, maybe. I don't know. I have no clue what the dude's thinking.
Don't they already have a base there? Isn't that where JD Vance went? I feel like the U.S. base there.
Dude,
I don't know.
Again, I don't know. You're talking to.
Yeah, let's stop this conversation. Brandon, thank you so much for taking your time. This was an amazingly unintelligent conversation, but I love hearing your perspective of it.
You're intelligent. I'm just
Facts.
sitting here for the comedy section of this. Hopefully that was funny. No, listen, thank you very much for having me. You're a wicked sweetheart. I hope to surf with you in Cafe soon, and
Dude,
be safe out there.
You too, man. If anyone wants to follow Brando, where do we find you?
Brando Surfing.
Brando Surfing. Who would have thought?
Brando Surfing.
All right, we're running out of time. Thank you so much, buddy. Talk to you soon.
See you later. Rock on.
Bye.
Bye.